I accidentally discovered where my stepmother vents about hating her husband's kids. I found out that my stepmother secretly despises me and my siblings. I was using the computer when I realized my stepmom had accidentally left her Reddit account logged in. The first thing I saw was her most recent post where she went on about me in a random subreddit. She criticized how I look lied and said I had called her names and outright stated that she hates me. There were multiple posts where she talked about how happy she is when my siblings aren't home. She left comments saying she can't wait until we all turn 18 and leave so she can finally have her house to herself. In many threads, she argued that it's completely fine not to love your stepchildren because they're not real family, and attacked anyone who even hinted at supporting stepkids. She said she's sick of hearing the laughter of a teenager and counts down the days until we're gone so my dad can finally be with his real family. She literally said she would rather die than pretend to care about us. The worst part is her attitude about my little sister who is deaf and uses sign language. It always struck me as strange that she hadn't made much progress learning to sign, even though she claimed she was trying. My sister always said that sign language can be hard to learn, and I accepted that. But in her Reddit posts, my stepmother said she thinks learning to sign is stupid. My sister had tried so hard to help her. Now I know it wasn't that she struggled to learn, she never cared to try. What shocked me most was the amount of jealousy she showed toward the bond between me and my dad. It disgusted me how clear it is now. I read so many responses from other Reddit users telling her they felt the same about their stepchildren, which made it even worse. My siblings are good kids. They love her. That's what makes this so painful, how fake she is in front of us. I can't count how many times I offered to babysit my little half-brother so she and my dad could go out for a date night. She always refused. And now I know why, because in her posts, she accuses me of being lazy and says I do nothing to help at home. That's completely false. I cook, do my own laundry, and even help my dad with bills. I barely come home during the week because I'm in a police academy program that runs almost full-time. My dad actually asked me to move back in so I could have a shorter commute when I return on Friday nights. And yet, she has the nerve to say I don't help or contribute. She even made gross comments about how I interact with my dad, saying it's not normal for me to hug him tightly and that I need to know my place. That's my father. There's nothing inappropriate about showing him affection. What's wrong with her? I took screenshots of everything. The posts, the comments, even ones from years ago. I'm not going to let this go. Update. Instead of going back to the academy after the weekend, I went to my mom's house and told her everything. She didn't know what Reddit was, but I translated the comments and showed her the screenshots. She was furious. I explained that my stepmother had also posted horrible things about her, even though they've always had a cordial relationship. My mom was especially angry at how people on Reddit supported my stepmother, telling her to move away with her real family and leave the rest of us behind. We told my brother next. He was upset too and called her fake. He also said he'd noticed her ignoring my sister, acting like she didn't see or hear her. He agreed it was strange that she hasn't learned sign language by now, especially since our sister lives with them and uses it every day. My dad even offered to pay for classes, but she always says she doesn't have time. My brother added that she doesn't let him care for our little brother, just like she does with me. But she does allow our sister to help. That part doesn't make any sense. Then we told my sister. That was the hardest. She cried especially over the comments my stepmother made about me. It's kind of sad and ironic. The comments directed at her hit me hard, and the ones about me upset her just as much. She pointed out something I hadn't noticed. Nearly every hateful comment is about me, her, and our mom. My brother only got criticized for things like having sleepovers or staying out too late. My sister admitted she used to believe maybe she wasn't pronouncing things right or wasn't being understood, and that's why SM didn't respond. But now we know the truth. SM never cared enough to learn or listen. My sister takes so much pride in being able to pronounce certain words, even short ones. It's hard for her, but she's so proud of the progress she's made. And every time my stepmother ignored her, she thought it was her fault. That's what makes me the most angry. My mom said she's going to talk to both my stepmother and my dad. She said that even though Reddit is anonymous, SM's behavior and language are so disturbing that she won't allow my siblings to be around someone like that. We agreed to sit down with my dad and tell him everything together. We're planning to do that tomorrow before I return to the academy on Monday. My stepmother still hasn't deleted her account. It's wild how much she lies to strangers online for sympathy. At this point, I can't tell if she's mentally unstable or just addicted to making herself the victim. I considered checking her email again since the password is saved, but I'm worried she might get a notification. I made sure to log out this time. We talked to my dad over the weekend. For now, he's staying at my mom's house. It's complicated, especially because of our younger half-brother who's caught in the middle of everything. On Saturday, I went to my dad's place. The first thing I did was tell my stepmom privately that I'd seen her Reddit account and that I planned to talk to my dad about it. She tried to defend herself, saying I couldn't judge her for something she used as a personal diary. I told her this isn't a private diary. It's a public social network where she aired lies and complaints for strangers to validate. What would have happened if someone other than me had found her account? What if her identity had been exposed? If that happened, I could have been kicked out of the academy. There's a big difference between venting and writing hateful things like my stepdaughters act inappropriate around their dad, or I'd rather die than pretend to care about them. She didn't say she was stressed. She created a public persona where she plays the victim and paints the rest of us as monsters. I told her my mom and sister know too, and we would all be speaking to my dad about it. She didn't respond. She just locked herself in her room. When we finally sat down with my dad, I showed him most of the posts and comments. There were so many that it honestly would have taken hours to go through every single one. She's one of those people who writes out her entire life story in the comments section of random posts. My dad was furious. He said she never once expressed any of this to him, not even a hint of a problem. If she had issues, she could have talked to him. He was especially sickened by how she described my sister and how gleeful she sounded whenever my sister was at the hospital or away from home. She even wrote that she's counting down the days until my sister is no longer in the house. He told her point blank he's a father and he will never abandon us. She chose to marry a man with children. If she had concerns, she could have addressed them like an adult. But instead, she created an online fantasy where she's some misunderstood victim and we're the villains. She said again that she needed a place to vent. But he told her that venting doesn't mean inventing lies or spreading hate. Venting is saying I'm overwhelmed, not I hate my stepkids, or my husband's daughter is gross for hugging him. They argued for a long time. It went in circles. She kept trying to justify herself, and he told her it was over. My mom jumped in and said she refuses to let our younger siblings be around someone so mentally unstable. No normal person thinks or talks like this, she said. We all tried to get SM to understand how serious this was. But she just kept defending her actions. She never admitted she was wrong. She never apologized. My dad packed a bag and left with us. He told her he would come back every day to see my little brother, but that he no longer trusted her. He said he had never seen this side of her, and now realized how long she'd been pretending. He was heartbroken. I didn't expect it to go like this. Deep down, I think I hoped she would be honest, that maybe she would own up to it and apologize. But she truly believes she was justified because being a stepmother is hard. That may be true, but nothing justifies this level of cruelty and resentment. It's painful knowing someone who lived in our home and pretended to care was hiding this much bitterness inside. I was never that close to her, but I liked her enough to share my clothes with her, laugh with her, trust her. That's what hurts the most, especially for my dad. Bonus story. Am I the bad guy for tricking my parents into being on time for my wedding? My parents are late for everything. My sisters and I have been let down more times than we can count: graduations, birthday parties, even our dad's retirement dinner. It's always been this way, and it's entirely my mom's fault. She's a great person, but she genuinely doesn't grasp the concept of being on time. I've seen her waving off reminders and then showing up after events were already over. At one of my younger sister's dance recitals, I reminded her she had to leave soon, and she just brushed it off while chatting with her sister. She showed up after my sister had already performed. My dad's just given up on trying to fix it. But my wife, not so much. She told me clearly that if my mom was late to our wedding, she would not be happy, and she was only half joking, so I did what I had to do. When we ordered wedding invitations, I had one special version printed just for my parents. It said the ceremony started 1 hour earlier than it really did. My wife didn't know. I didn't tell anyone else. On the big day, my mom was freaking out. She thought they were going to be late and was panicking in the car. She had a role in the ceremony. She and my mother-in-law were lighting the unity candles. When they arrived and saw people just parking and heading inside, she thought we were starting late and was relieved. She never realized the truth. The ceremony and reception went off perfectly. The problem came later at a big family dinner the following Sunday. We waited to start grilling until my parents arrived. When they did, my mom asked why no one had eaten yet. Someone joked, "We were waiting for you. You're always late." She insisted that wasn't true, saying I was on time for the wedding. That's when my cousin John snorted out loud. Others smiled. She caught on and asked what was so funny. I came clean. I told her I'd given her a fake start time on the invite. She was furious. Said I embarrassed her and didn't trust her. She said if John hadn't reacted, she never would have known. Honestly, maybe she needed to know. Thank you for listening to today's stories. If you enjoyed listening, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, leave a comment below to share your thoughts on what happened. Take care.